They thought I would stay quiet. They thought that just because I'm the rebellious cousin, I wouldn't pay attention to what is happening behind the closed gates of the big house. But I see everything. You have seen the blurry photos circulating online. You have seen the headlines asking, is Mackynzie Duggar in a courtship? To the internet, this is just gossip. To me, that is my niece. That is a child who has been through hell, while her father, Josh Duggar, sits in a federal prison cell. There is a power vacuum in that family. And guess who stepped in to fill it? My uncle Jim Bob. The rumors aren't just rumors. There is a specific plan in motion to secure the next generation before they can wake up and leave. They are calling it a courtship. I call it damage control. Today, I am going to spill the tea on the secret suitor, the timeline that doesn't add up, why I am terrified that history is about to repeat itself with Mackynzie. Buckle up. We need to talk. Okay, let's pull up the receipt. You guys have been tagging me in this photo for days. Amy, is that Mackynzie? Amy, who is that guy? So, let's look at it together. It's grainy. It was clearly taken from a distance, probably by someone driving by the compound or a local in Tontatown who knows the drill. But I know that posture. I know that hair. That is definitely Mackynzie. And she isn't walking alone in the real world. Seeing a teenage girl walking near a guy isn't a big deal. You wouldn't blink twice. You have to understand the Duggar universe. In that world, opposite genders do not just hang out. They don't just go for a stroll unless there is a purpose. And that purpose is always marriage. Look at the space between them. It's what we used to call the holy gap. Close enough to talk, far enough to leave room for Jesus. But look closer at her face. Is she smiling? Is she laughing? No, her head is down. She looks dutiful. She looks like she is completing a task. And that breaks my heart, because at her age, she should be worried about homework or what movie to see with her girlfriends. She shouldn't be auditioning for a wife role. This photo isn't just a candid shot. To me, it's a smoking gun. It proves that the machinery hasn't stopped just because Josh is locked away. So here is the million-dollar question. Who approved this? Josh is in Sagaville. He's in federal prison. He can't exactly chaperone a date from a cell block. In the IBLP, the cult my family is famous for, every woman must be under the authority or umbrella of a man, a headship. Usually that's the father. But when the father is removed, who takes over? Does the mother get to decide? Absolutely not. Anna doesn't have the authority. In their eyes, she is just a vessel. So the authority snaps back to the patriarch. It goes right back to Uncle Jim Bob. This is what people don't get. They think because Josh is gone, Anna is calling the shots. No, Jim Bob is the one paying the bills. Jim Bob is the one providing the housing. And in that family, money equals control. Since Josh can't be the head of the household, Jim Bob has essentially stepped in as the proxy father for those kids. So if Mackynzie is courting, let's be crystal clear, she isn't courting because she found a guy at a coffee shop. She is courting because Jim Bob Duggar looked at a spreadsheet and decided it was time to merge assets. Why now? Why the rush? She is so young. Why not let her wait? Well, let's look at the timeline. The family reputation is in the toilet. Let's be real. Between the shiny Happy People documentary, Jill's book, Counting the Cost, and Josh's conviction, the brand is destroyed. Jim Bob is a PR mastermind. He knows the only thing that distracts the public from a scandal is a wedding or a baby. But he's running out of daughters. Jana is, well, we'll get to Jana later. Johanna is getting there, but Mackynzie, Mackynzie is the first grandchild. A wedding for Josh's daughter would be the ultimate redemption arc in Jim Bob's twisted mind. It would show the world, look, we are still faithful. Even Josh's kids are turning out fine. It's using her as a human shield against the criticism. I've seen him do this for years. Every time a bad story leaked, boom, someone announces a pregnancy. This isn't romance. This is damage control. And Mackynzie is the prop. Let's talk about the guy. The internet sleuths are working overtime. And honestly, y'all are better than the FBI sometimes. We don't have a confirmed name yet. We can make some educated guesses based on who is allowed inside the gates. He has to be IBLP, or at least Independent Fundamental Baptist FB. Jim Bob isn't going to let his granddaughter marry a guy who wears skinny jeans and listens to secular rock music. He needs someone safe, someone who won't ask questions about Josh, someone who believes that a wife should be silent. Rumor has it he's from one of the allied families in Texas, or maybe the Bates circle. But here is what scares me, is he older? In the leaked photo, he looks tall, broad. He doesn't look like a 16-year-old boy. If he is in his 20s and she is still a minor, that is a massive red flag. But in our circles, age gaps are normalized. They say, oh, he's just more mature. No, he's a grown man targeting a girl who has been groomed to obey. And if Jim Bob picked him, you know he was chosen for his loyalty to the ideology, not because he makes Mackenzie heart flutter. I get so many DMs asking, Amy, why doesn't Anna stop this? Why doesn't she take the kids and run? Guys, run where? Anna lives in a warehouse on Jim Bob's property. She has 7 kids. She has no education. She has no job history. She has been taught since birth that her only purpose is to be a wife and mother. She is completely 100% financially dependent on the man who is likely arranging this marriage. If she says no to Jim Bob, she risks losing the roof over her head. She risks losing financial support for Josh's legal appeals, which she still believes in. Sadly, she is trapped. And I think deep down, she thinks this is good for Mackynzie. Anna was raised to believe that early marriage is safety. She probably thinks getting Mackynzie married off will protect her from the evils of the world. It's a cycle of trauma. Anna was traded like cattle, and now she is watching her daughter be traded, and she doesn't have the tools or the power to say, stop. It makes me want to scream. I want to shake her and say, wake up. But until she wakes up, Mackynzie is on her own. Let's talk about money. Because in my family, you can't talk about faith without talking about the bank account. People ask me, Amy, why doesn't Anna just say no? Why doesn't she kick Jim Bob out of her house? Guys, it's not her house. Anna and those 7 kids are living in a renovated warehouse on Jim Bob's property. Imagine that. You are a single mom, essentially, with 7 mouths to feed, and your husband is in federal prison for over a decade. You have no job. You have no degree. You have never paid a bill in your life because the men always handled it. Jim Bob holds the purse strings. He pays for the groceries. He pays for the utilities. And we all know with Uncle Jim Bob, there is no such thing as a free lunch. His help comes with strings attached. Thick, heavy strings. If he walks in and says, I found a great young man for Mackynzie, Anna isn't in a position to argue. If she fights him, she risks homelessness. She risks losing the only support system she knows. It is financial abuse masked as Christian charity. He has created a situation where Anna has to trade her daughter's autonomy for their survival. That is the ugly truth. There is a curse in fundamentalist families. We call it the eldest daughter syndrome. Look at Jaina. Look at Jill. Look at Mackynzie. The eldest daughter is never allowed to be a child. She is the deputy mom. From the moment Mackynzie could walk, she was trained to help raise her siblings. When the scandals hit, when the raids happened, when Josh was arrested, who do you think was keeping the little ones calm? Mackynzie. She has been functioning as an adult for years. So in Jim Bob's eyes, she isn't a teenager. She is a veteran. He looks at her and thinks she's ready, not because she is emotionally ready, but because she is functionally ready. She knows how to cook, clean, and raise babies. She is a prime asset on the marriage market. It makes me sick because I know Mackynzie. She is sweet, she is quiet, she is a pleaser. She is the perfect victim for this system because she has been trained to never put herself first. Being the eldest daughter in the Duggar family isn't a birthright, it's a burden. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the age gap. I don't have his ID, but looking at the guys usually in this circle, they aren't usually high schoolers. In the IBLP, it is very common for men in their mid to late 20s to court teenage girls. They call it biblical. I call it predatory. They justify it by saying girls mature faster or I can provide for her. But think about the power dynamic. You have a guy who has lived life, maybe had a job, maybe has a car, and you have Mackynzie, who has been sheltered on a compound her whole life with her dad in prison. She is vulnerable. A guy his age should be dating women his age. But men in this cult love the younger girls because they are easier to mold. They are easier to control. If this guy is 22, 23 or older and she is barely legal, that isn't a partnership. That is a transfer of ownership. And Jim Bob loves that. He prefers older guys because they are stable. He doesn't care about the creep factor. He cares about the stability of the alliance. Remember the old days when Jill and Derek were courting? When Jessa and Ben were courting? It was a spectacle. The side hugs, the chaperone dates, the roses. It was cringe, sure, but it was public. There were cameras, there were producers, there was some level of safety because the world was watching. But this is happening in the shadows. There is no TLC camera crew to make sure he treats her well. There is no People magazine interview. This is a dark courtship. It's happening in secret because they know the backlash would be massive. They are hiding it. And when you hide things, bad things happen. Mackynzie doesn't get the princess treatment her aunts got. She gets a hush arrangement while her dad sits in a cell. It's the same rules, but without the glamour. It's just the raw, gritty reality of the cult without the TV filter. And honestly, that scares me more because no one is watching but Jim Bob. Oh, you hear the word courtship and you think, okay, dating with purpose. No. In the deeper circles of IBLP, where Anna is deep in, it's closer to betrothal. Courtship implies you can break up. You can say, hey, I don't like how he chews his food and end it. Betrothal is a pre-marriage contract. Once the dads agree, once Jim Bob and the mystery man's dad shake hands, it's basically a done deal. The getting to know you phase is just a formality. The emotional pressure to go through with it is immense. If Mackynzie backs out now, she isn't just dumping a boyfriend. She is breaking a promise her grandfather made. She is embarrassing the family. She is taught that breaking a courtship is like a divorce. It damages your pieces of heart. So does she really have a choice? If the contract is already signed in Jim Bob's head, Mackynzie is just walking down the aisle to a fate that was decided for her before she even knew the guy's name. That's not love. That's a transaction. People ask me what Mackenzie daily life is actually like right now. Is she going to prom? Is she scrolling TikTok? No, She is living in a bubble within a bubble. Remember, they aren't even in the main big house with the pantry and the industrial kitchen. They are in the home, the renovated warehouse on the property. Her world is tiny. It's homeschooling, chores, taking care of her younger siblings, and church. She doesn't have a smartphone. She doesn't have unsupervised internet access. She can't just Google red flags in relationships. She only knows what Anna tells her and what Jim Bob tells her. If they tell her this man is God's will for you, she has zero outside data to contradict them. She is living in an echo chamber where the only voice she hears is the one telling her to submit. That is the scariest part. She probably thinks this is what she wants because she's never been allowed to want anything else. This is the part that gets me in trouble, but I'm going to say it. Where are the aunts? Jaina just got married. Jill is writing books. Jinger is in LA living her best life. Why aren't they storming the gates to save their niece? It's complicated. Jill has legal boundaries. She literally isn't allowed to just walk in there sometimes. Jinger is across the country and trying to heal from her own trauma. And Jaina, she played the game perfectly to finally get her own freedom. She isn't going to rock the boat now. The sad truth is everyone is terrified of Jim Bob, even the ones who left. They know that if they speak out too loudly about Mackynzie, Jim Bob will cut them off completely. He will ban them from seeing the other siblings. It's leverage. He holds the younger kids hostage to keep the older kids silent, so the aunts stay quiet, maybe sending a text here and there, hoping Mackynzie figures it out. But hope isn't a strategy. And silence looks a lot like complicity when a teenager's future is on the line. Does Josh know? Absolutely. 100%. You think Jim Bob would arrange a marriage for Josh's property without Josh's ego being stroked? Josh is in federal prison, but in his mind, he is still the patriarch of his family. I guarantee there have been phone calls. Jim Bob probably pitched it to him. Hey, this will secure her future. This will help the family image. And Josh, he loves control, even from a cell. Giving his blessing makes him feel powerful. It makes him feel like he's still the head of the household. He isn't thinking about Mackenzie happiness. He's thinking, I'm still the boss. It's disgusting to think that a man convicted of what he was convicted of still gets a vote on a teenage girl's life. In the IBLP, a father's authority overrides everything, even a prison sentence. I was always the bad cousin. Why? Because I wore jeans? Because I listened to NSONC? No, because I asked why Uncle Jim Bob didn't like me around his daughters, because I represented the outside world. I remember Mackynzie when she was little. She was so bright, so curious. I used to think maybe I can be the cool aunt for her. Maybe I can show her there's another way, but they walled her off. They saw what happened with me, that I lived a normal life and didn't get struck by lightning. And they made sure Mackynzie didn't get that exposure. I escaped the pressure because my mom wasn't fully in the Kool-Aid. Mackynzie doesn't have that luxury. I speak out now because I'm the only one who has nothing to lose. Jim Bob can't fire me. He can't cut me out of a will I was never in. So I'm using my freedom to scream for the ones who can't. Let's look at the timing again. Shiny, happy people came out and exposed the dark underbelly of the IBLP. Jill's book exposed the financial abuse. The Duggar name is mud right now. Jim Bob needs a win. He needs a wholesome, beautiful distraction. What sells better than a wedding? A Duggar wedding is a PR event. It floods the internet with pretty pictures of flowers, dresses, and happy family reunions. It pushes the Josh is a predator headlines down the search results. If McKenzie gets married, all the tabloids will run stories about the first grandchild bride instead of the convicted fill-on father. She is being used as a palate cleanser for the family brand. It's strategic, it's calculated, and it is incredibly unfair to put the weight of family's redemption on a teenage girl's shoulders. I want to go back to that photo one more time. Because in the Duggar family, we were trained in admiration. Girls are taught to look at their man with this specific eyed gaze, to smile constantly, to keep sweet. If Mackynzie was truly happy, if she was actually in love, she would be beaming. She would be looking up at him like he hung the moon. But look at the body language. Her shoulders are slumped. Her head is down. She is creating a physical barrier with her arms. That isn't the posture of a girl in love. That is the posture of a girl in compliance. I've seen that look before. I saw it on Anna when the scandals broke. I saw it on my other cousins when they were forced to film scenes they didn't want to. It's the look of dissociation. It says, I am here physically, but I have checked out mentally to survive. Seeing that on a teenager, it chills me to the bone. It tells me that she knows she has no say in this. She is just walking the path that was paved for her, trying not to trip. I lurk on the forums. I see the TikTok theories. I know the Duggar Snark community is huge. And honestly, y'all are right about 90% of the time. Reddit users predicted the Josh arrest way before the news broke. There is one theory I keep seeing that I need to debunk. People keep saying maybe Anna is secretly plotting an escape, and this marriage is a way to get Mackynzie out of the house. Guys, stop. That is a movie plot. It isn't reality. Anna is deep in the Kool-Aid. She believes Josh is innocent. She believes Jim Bob is God's authority. She isn't playing 4D chess to liberate her daughter. She is doing what she is told. The reality is much more boring and much more depressing than the fan theories. This is simply a cult doing what a cult does, assigning women to men to keep the population growing. The internet wants a hero. They want Anna to be a secret rebel, but she isn't. And that means the only people who can help Mackynzie are on the outside. The fans are right about the danger, but they are wrong about the savior. The call is coming from inside the house. How is this legal? That's the big question. If she is a minor, how can she get married? Well, in Arkansas and many other states, if you have parental consent, the age drops. And since Josh is incarcerated, Anna has the legal custody, but Jim Bob has the influence. If Anna signs the paper, it's legal. And let's be real, they might just do a spiritual ceremony first. They love doing that. They have a big wedding, exchange vows before God, and then just wait until she turns 18 to file the paperwork at the courthouse. To the state, she is single. To the cult, she is married property. This loophole is how they trap girls. They get them spiritually married, young, get them pregnant immediately, and by the time they are legal adults, they have 2 kids and no way to leave. It is a trap designed to bypass the law. Jim Bob knows exactly where the legal lines are, and he knows how to dance right on top of them without getting arrested. It's not illegal, but it is morally bankrupt. I don't know if Mackynzie will ever see this. They probably block YouTube at the warehouse. If you are watching, or if a friend is showing you this, a Mackynzie, please listen to Aunt Amy. You do not have to do this. I know you feel like you have the weight of the world on you. I know you think you have to redeem your father's name. But you don't. You are a child. You deserve to figure out who you are. You deserve to wear what you want, listen to what you want, and date who you want. There is a whole world out here that will love you and support you, not because you are obedient, just because you are you. If you don't want to marry him, don't. Say no. Scream it if you have to. Call me. DM me. Find a way. I have a guest room. I have a safe space. You are not a pawn in Jim Bob's game. You are a strong, beautiful young woman, and your life hasn't even started yet. Please don't sign the contract. Just run. To the rest of you watching, thank you for caring. Keeping the spotlight on this family is the only thing that keeps them in check. Jim Bob hates this. He hates that we are talking about it. He wants to operate in the dark. He wants to make these deals behind closed doors where no one can criticize him. But those days are over. We see you, Uncle Jim Bob. We know what you are doing. We know why you are doing it. And we aren't going to look away. If you think you can sell off Josh's daughter to fix your reputation, you are wrong. It will only make the fire burn brighter. This isn't just about Mackynzie. It's about every girl in that high control group who is waiting for someone to notice them. We notice you. I'm Amy King. I'm the rebellious cousin, and I'm damn proud of it. And I'm going to keep being loud until every single one of those kids is free. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share this. Let's make sure they can't hide